So, AI is kind of taken over everything, which I think we all knew that it was going there. Now, I've been a long-standing. I've been fearful of AI taking everybody's jobs for a long time, and hopefully, I'm wrong on that. People tell me I'm crazy, but that's where I see it going. Uh, I do see it taking over a lot of parts of the healthcare industry. And some of it's going to be great, and some of it's going to be terrible, uh, and some of it's going to be for healthcare, and some of it's going to be bad for people. But so one of the things I see it starting to take over that'll be good is the vast majority of the cost for healthcare is administrative function. The doctors aren't making all the money. Um, it's a lot of administrative stuff. So you can thin out a giant amount of the administration work with AI. One of the career paths I see going away real fast is radiology. So you got a guy in a dark room looking at X-rays and MRIs and all this sort of stuff. Uh, everything's digital now. The CTs, the MRIs, the X-rays, it's all digital, and we're starting to see that AI does a much better job of uh, finding and diagnosing issues through radiology than people do. So we're already at that cusp where it's kind of at the point where we can start thinning out the radiologists, we can start thinning out the radiological techs, and we can start having AI really help, diagnose some of that stuff. And I think that's going to be beneficial for the patient because it's going to be much faster, and I think we're going to get much better diagnoses and indications of things, and I think we're going to see them earlier. So it's great for the patient. Obviously, that's bad for all the docs who are radiologists, all the people who are going into radiology, radiological techs. Now, if you thin out the radiologists and the techs and all that and the administrative stuff, that could lower healthcare costs. It probably won't. He'll just spread the money around to everybody else a little more, but it could. The other thing that we're starting to see is surgeons are able to start doing really cool surgeries online. They get in, they use a little machine, and the machine's tied to a robot like the Da Vinci, and the robot does the surgery, and the surgeon's on the other side. Now, basically what they're doing is they're training these robots to do surgery for them. Elon Musk has already come out and said that the Optimus robot will be able to perform surgeries and do all sorts of other things. And, that is kind of cool because it would, if we can get the robots, and I think we can, if we can get the robots to the point where they can do great surgical technique and they can do the whole thing, it would radically lower the cost of surgery. It would also lower the time it takes to get it. So there's some good things there. However, you're also going to lose a bunch of your surgeons. So, there's that issue as well. The big thing that we see with AI is that, remember, especially right now AI might get better in the future. We might train it better. I don't know. But one of the big things that we're seeing is that AI basically just scrapes whatever's on the internet right now. And it goes, hey, there were 10 articles that said cholesterol is going to kill you. And there's, maybe one that says that it's probably not cholesterol, it's something else. And the internet's going to come back and be like, definitive answer, cholesterol is killing you. It's not anything else. It's just cholesterol is causing heart attacks. And the problem with that is that people believe it. People believe, oh, well, I asked AI and AI told me, and AI is smarter than everybody else. So that's what it is. It's a scan of the internet. So you can train something to be specific. For instance, radiology. You can be like, all right, in this scan, we're looking for these 75 or 100 things or 500 things. Great. It's a finite amount of things, easily defined by specific margins, colors, gradient scales, all sorts of things. And the AI can pick up on that really easily. But when you come in and you say, all right, we're going to look at this person, we're going to go through all these different issues, and we're going to try to tease out what the best plan is. The problem that you're going to get into is that AI is going to go out and it's going to look for whatever is the most commonly said thing online. And it's going to come back with information that may or may not be the most applicable to the patient. So that's where we kind of have to start kind of worrying about what the diagnosis, what the treatment plans, what the options are going to be, especially if you don't believe that every single thing that is online is accurate. Right now, in Europe, it's if you say anything that's specifically in the UK, if you say anything that's derogatory or negative about the government, you go to jail, like online. Like they have no First Amendment rights. Like if you say something the government doesn't like, they will put you in prison. if you're like, hey, maybe we should focus more on the citizens of the UK instead of the immigrants, that will get you in jail. And remember, they have socialized healthcare. So if you say anything negative about their healthcare system, you're saying negative things about the government, and they're sooner or later that's going to run you into problems, and they're going to put you in prison for it. So anything that's anti-vaccine, anything that's anti socialized medicine, anything that's pro free choice and free healthcare, or not free healthcare, but free market healthcare, you're gonna start seeing those people get put in prison for going against what the government mandate is. And so that's a really big issue. So as far as anything that's said online, if these people are from Europe, you can't believe it anymore because they can only say the government approved lines without getting in trouble. Tucker Carlson got in a big argument with Piers Morgan about this because Piers Morgan knows that if he says certain words, he'll go to jail. Whether you think about Piers Morgan or not, he does qualify as one of the more famous journalists in Europe. So if he's not allowed to say words without going to prison, you have to understand that everybody else is in that same boat. So now whatever's on the internet is highly controlled by governments. And even if Elon's, Elon's great free speech, the whole deal, that's fantastic. However, if Grok and ChatGPT and all of those, if they only have access to searching the papers that have been allowed to be published, the things that are online being said by specific people, well, then you're only going to get government approved information online because the amount of information that is being allowed to be put online is greatly controlled by the government. So and the governments are obviously controlled by pharmaceutical interests and lobbies. So you really kind of have to start worrying about what is the information that's being given to me from the internet, from AI, because it is now being regulated at the scientific journal level, what the doctors are allowed to say online, and then whatever bots the government's putting out to fill the void of information. Because again, remember, if you have 2,000, 3,000 bots and they're all saying the same thing, it's gonna alter the way that the algorithms and the searches from AI go. So AI is great. You can use it to do a bunch of things. Just make sure that you're checking and double checking what's being said, because again, this AI stuff is actually pretty easily manipulated if you want to create a grand narrative. And the people who create grand narratives are your large corporations, your governments, and groups like that. So keep that in mind as you're trying to use AI for whatever you're using AI for, is that the information you're getting isn't from some non-biased machine that's super duper genius. It is a compilation of what everybody else has put out there. And most of that stuff is not there to help you. It is there to control and lie to you. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Like I said, there's some great things I think are coming from AI. I think it's going to help radically increase diagnosis ability. It's going to radically increase, access to care, and hopefully it'll decrease administrative costs and speeds things up. But you also have to be very, very, very cautious about the information it's giving you, because right now, the vast majority of the things that are online are lies, or they're just wrong. So keep that in mind as you go through your searches, and don't just take whatever AI says at face value. So, all right, if you guys have any other questions, hit us up and we'll go through them. Thanks for your time.